All right, welcome to United Astronomy Clubs of New Jersey. Welcome back. I hope everyone had a great holiday time. So, first off, tonight's program is What's Up in January Sky with Lonny Buinis. We want to thank you all for coming in. Uh, like I said, you can always check out what's coming up in as far as programs on our website, uacnj.org. You can also check us out on our social medias. So we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have our Discord server. We are a nonprofit, so we greatly appreciate those who have supported us not only through our links on our website, like I said, but through our Patreon as well. So, like I said, tonight's program is What's Up in the January Sky with Lonny Buinis. He's been giving this talk uh, since we started doing public presentations uh, way back then, and now he is continuing to do this through our winter program. He has attended Stevens Institute of Technology, and but despite that, believes that um, real life practical skills are just as important as that education. And with that,
Thank you very much, Kim. These talks wouldn't have been made possible without the generous support from people like Kim, Chris, and Jeff at the UACNJ. So we hope that when we're open in the spring, April through October, when it's not so cold, that you'll come and visit us in person and talk to some of the amateurs, including the people who made this possible. It's great to be here. What's up in the January sky is what we're doing right now. And on our opening screen here, if you look to the left of the words, what's up, you'll see the most prominent constellation in the sky, I think. There's a lot of opinion tonight. You can disagree with me, but I think Orion is one of the most easily recognizable groups of stars that we call constellations, with its bright winter stars. And above the word what's, two bright star clusters on a bright red planet. Over on the right, a faint gas giant planet Uranus. And then down below to the left, we have some of the bright winter stars, including the brightest, Sirius. So let's talk about some of these things. You also see unusual constellations like on the upper left, Uacnid. Repeat me, Uacnid. United Astronomy Clubs of New Jersey. Just remember uacnid.org, and I'll remind you later. Right next to the constellation Uacnid is the bright star, the small dog star. And right here we've got the winter triangle, something to watch for. When you do come to visit in the more mild months, we will show you these guides. And so a quick summary is that we are asking for donations when you come visit, because this is all done with volunteer help. Thank you. To get started, you might want to check out some websites that give you a basic on what's going up in the sky. And I'm going to talk about those at the very end, some references. For right now, I like to refer to go-astronomy.com because it's easy to remember. And right there, you can get a summary of their astronomical events on their event calendar, which shows you events for the year. Here, I forgot to find the 2023 shot, so I'll fix that next time to summarize the January events. One of them is already passed. On the 3rd and 4th, a minor meteor shower, the quadrantids. And I thought it was interesting when I checked this in Wikipedia that the quadrantus, used to be a recognized constellation near the Big Dipper or the Big Bear, your choice. Ursa Major, Big Dipper, same thing pretty much. Well, this was in the early part of the 20th century, the 1920s. But by 1930, the International Astronomical Union decided on a conference to standardize all the constellations, and they eliminated poor quadrantus. It's not there anymore. It's not one of the official number, which number the same as the number of keys on a piano. So all you piano players in the audience right now, run over. I'll wait a minute. Run over to your piano, count the number of keys, black and white. Go ahead. I've got all night. So what else is happening? Well, we've got every month, we've got a couple of phases of the moon, a full moon early in the month, the wolf moon, and later in the month, the new moon. When the moon is new, it's near the sun in the sky, apparently. Is it really close? No, because if you look from the side, the moon and the sun are separated by a distance difference of 400 times. However, the sun is 400 times bigger than the moon, so where they were placed in the sky, they look about the same angular size. And when the moon passes close to the sun in the daytime, because it's going around the earth, right? It's going to pass near the sun in the sky sometimes. It just misses, and we have a new moon, not visible. Best time to see faint objects, right? Because the moonlight interferes with observing at night. So we've got a terrible situation early in the month. The full moon ruins the chance to see faint objects, but you should go out and look for the bright stars and planets anyway, right? Because there's always something to see in the sky, always something interesting. And at the very end of the month, the planet Mercury is furthest west of the sun. So if I'm facing south and I look to my right, that's going to be west where the sun sets. And if Mercury is west of the sun, that means it's to the right in the morning. In the eastern sky, it'll be west of the sun, away to the right. So as the sun is rising is the best time to look for the planet Mercury. We're going to check that out in just a few minutes as if we were looking in the morning sky. First, phases of the moon. Check out moongiant.com. I love this website. They've got calendars, they have the current phase. You can do a lot about the moon. Main phases, full, new, first and last quarter. Why do they call it a quarter? We're seeing half of the moon. Wait a minute. Yeah, half of it's lit up, right? Last quarter moon, the middle of the month. That would be in the early morning sky. Half is dark and half is light. So why is it a quarter moon? It's a trick question. Because the moon is a sphere, and we don't see the other side, as the moon always keeps one face to the earth. As it spins on its axis, takes about 27 and a third days. But it's also going around the earth in 27 and a third days. So the two do a dance. The moon always faces the earth. That's called synchronous rotation. A lot of main satellites in the solar system do this with their parent planets. The moons of Jupiter, locked, facing Jupiter all the time. Big moons of Saturn, the ones that are close, right? Uranus, Neptune, they all have synchronous rotation, not the minor ones. So we've got a good time to see faint objects, new moon late in the month, full moon, terrible time. Good time to see detail on the moon is the first quarter, which happens when the sun is setting. And we're all still awake then, right? Right. So you want to go out at sunset. You'll see the sun, if you're facing south on your right and west. Moon is going to be directly in the south, quarter of it lit up. Quarter to us. There's still another quarter lit up on the other side that we don't see. Check out Moon Giant. This month, January, we've got the difficulty moon. Every month has poetic names for the moon. Difficulty moon, the black smoke moon, the wolf moon. The names from the Farmer's Almanac are a little more informal and not always officially recognized, but they are wonderful. Old moon, moon after Yule, that makes sense. Winter moon, that makes sense. Wolf moon, when the wolves are out, looking hungry wolves. So we've got the wolf moon and the full moon phase. So every full moon has a name. If we look in the morning sky, get up 6:30 in this part of the world, in New Jersey, Mercury is going to be low in a sign that looks like a teapot. The spout, lid, handle sinking below the trees. You do need a nice clear horizon. This is what it looks like standing on the rocks, the rock cliff face at Jenny Jump State Forest at the UACNJ observatories amongst the summer constellations. right? Those are visible in the early morning winter sky. Before the sun rises, check out Mercury. That's right there amongst the stars of Sagittarius, the teapot, or the centaur, half man, half horse, looks exactly like that, right? See it? No? So with that, why don't we simulate the actual sky using software? And I'm going to use a free program called Stellarium. Here we are recreating the scene that we just saw, but if we want to really get a look at what Mercury is doing, let's close in on it. Now notice how much I have to zoom in. Watch the field of view down below. Here is human vision, about 45 degrees, anywhere from 40 to 45 degrees is the sharp part of our vision in the center. But I've got to zoom way in to get any detail. On the 30th of this month, Mercury will be right by the star Omega Sagittarii, Omega Sigilor, Sagittarius. And I've got to use a telescope to see the phase of Mercury. Galilei is the first person to notice the phases of the inner planets, Mercury and Venus. They move around the sun lights them up differing amounts, and we now have a gibbous phase for the planet Mercury. No telescope on Earth gets Mercury with detail this sharp. It's a small planet, it's far away, and the atmosphere interferes, making things look fuzzy. So you might see Mercury in a small telescope or one of our telescopes like this. Will you see the red bars going around like this? No. Will you see the name next to the planet? No. You can turn a lot of these things off in Stellarium. There are many features you could turn on and off to help you find your way. To make things more difficult, you can even turn off the outlines that you see on star maps, like the ones that we sell cheap at our gift shop at UACNJ Observatory. At the main house, we've got planispheres for sale and other things. But we're not here to see what's up in the morning sky. We're here to see what's up in the evening sky. So I'm going to set the time and date to today, which is the 7th. We're still looking at 6:30 in the morning, so I can change the time. We're all still awake about 8:30 at night, right? What's this? 18:30, 19? What's 20:30? 20 minus 12, military time. 8:30 p.m. local time. And instead of facing south, I can zoom out, something you can't do in a star map made of paper. The planisphere looks around like this, and you can spin it around to change directions. You can't zoom in though, can you? You can change the time and date. I'm going to start in the north to get oriented. So first thing I do when I go outside tonight, if I'm at UACNJ, I look towards the observatories if I'm standing on the rocks. At home, you just look for a red letter N, right? No. Don't believe everything I say. I am an amateur astronomer. I know a lot about astronomy. I'm not a professional. I'm not a comedian. I'm not a liar, but I like to make stuff up. So just see if you can catch me if I make any mistakes. Do you recognize the Big Dipper, very low in the sky this time of year? The Great Bear, head, claws. The pointer stars, Merak and Dubhe, pointing 5 times the distance apart. Directly at the North Star? No. But close to the North Pole point, which is very close to our North Star, which goes by the name Alpha Ursa Minor or Polaris, Polaris, pole star. As the Earth spins, you can put an imaginary axis going through it, south to north, pointing out into the sky, and that is where our North Pole points currently. In about 10,000 years, it'll point toward the summer star, the bright star Vega or Vega, which was also an old automobile. Any old folks in the audience recall the Vega or Vega? So that is a technique that we amateur astronomers like to use to find our way around the sky. Big Dipper, point to the North Star. Star hopping, that's what the technique is called. The Little Dipper is also Ursa Minor, the small bear. And it is the brightest star in the small bear, so we give it the Greek letter alpha. Right? Astronomers like to label the brighter stars alpha, beta, gamma, after the letters of the Greek alphabet. And then they have a three-letter abbreviation for each constellation. The Big Dipper is named after Uma Thurman. Uma, right? No. Anybody get that? If you want to disagree with me in chat, Kim will pick up those comments and let me know. Thanks. Big Dipper, Little Dipper, Dragon is low, King looks like a house, and Queen looks like a letter M this time of year. Those constellations circle the pole star endlessly. They never rise, they never set. We see them 24 hours a day, right? No. Why don't we see them in the daytime? The sun interferes, but they're up. They're actually up there. If you know where to look, you'd be looking right at them. I like to switch over from north over to west when I look at the sky. Don't worry, I'm going to review all this at the very end. As you know, as the Earth spins eastward, everything in the sky goes the other way. It looks like it's setting in the west. The ancients thought that the sky revolved around the Earth, or rotated, actually revolved around the Earth, but we now know that the Earth is spinning the other way, and it makes everything in the sky look like it's going east to west. If you look in the west, you'll see a great square, which you'll never guess what this is called, this great square in the sky. That is the disappearing fall constellation of Pegasus, the winged horse. And it's the princess of legend. Right in there, the Andromeda Galaxy is the most distant thing that you can see in the universe with your naked eye. Yep, all you need is this to get started in astronomy. You don't need fancy equipment. From Jenny Jump, I have seen the Andromeda Galaxy with no visual aids. Amazing. Below the fishes, and below that, biggest planet in the solar system. With a small telescope, even a pair of binoculars, higher powered binoculars, four little stars following Jupiter back and forth as they move around. This is how Galileo saw Jupiter and the four moons. In a small telescope, even a small telescope shows some detail on the planet Jupiter. Brown bands, cloud bands. It's a cloudy, gaseous giant planet. And better telescopes will show you, as the writers in astronomy magazines like to say, a wealth of detail. If you ever read, I know a lot of us don't read anymore, but if you do read, either online or in print, in a magazine like Sky and Telescope or Astronomy, or even space.com, see how many times, count how many times they say a wealth of detail when they talk about what you can see on Jupiter. These satellites are fascinating, but I am most fascinated by this one, Europa, the smallest and brightest. Smallest and brightest. It's an enigma, isn't it? How can something smallest be brightest? Well, it's covered with a thick layer of ice that's cracked from the pull of Jupiter, and underneath a vast ocean that is not frozen, that's been there for billions of years with organic matter in it. Is there life inside Europa underneath the surface? We don't know yet. We suspect there is, and it may be advanced life, like animal or plant life. We don't know. We do know that there are living things under the oceans of Earth, at the mid-oceanic plates, living on hot thermal vents of the sort that may be underneath the ocean of Europa. Within our lifetimes, we may find out, because there are planned missions to go to land on that moon. Again, binoculars or a telescope to see that. Nearby, the planet Neptune, a gaseous giant planet. If I look further over to the south, we'll see the constellations that are up the longest amount of time. And here we've got the bright winter constellations, Orion, Taurus, Canis Major, Canis Minor. And unfortunately, tonight, the moon interfering nearly full, right? On the 6th, it gets worse. It's a gibbous moon right now. Not the same as Gibbon, a gibbous moon. I like to start every winter to find my way around the sky by facing south. Start with Orion the Hunter. You can't miss him. Even without the lines, you're going to see lines in the real sky? No. But you can see these 4 bright stars, Betelgeuse and Rigel. Beautiful color contrast in the real sky. This is a reddish orange or orange red star. This is a bright bluish color. The human eye can detect some colors faintly, not perfectly. At low light levels, we're not very good at detecting color, and I'll show you an object in a moment where that's true. But you can see star colors, and they tell you the star's temperature. This is a bright star 498 light years away, Betelgeuse or Betelgeuse or Betelgeuse or Betelgeuse pronunciations. I like Betelgeuse because it's like the movie, and it's like, and anybody not see the movie Beetlejuice? It's an old film now. Check it out. Has nothing to do with stars. Betelgeuse and Rigel, hot bluish star, much hotter than the sun. Betelgeuse, much cooler than the sun. Giant stars. A lot of these stars are very bright and very far away. These in the belt are on the order of hundreds to thousands of light years away. This one, Epsilon Orionis, Alnilam, is 1977 light years away. All these brighter stars in the sky were named by the ancient Arabic astronomers during the Dark Ages. They kept astronomy alive. We keep all those names today. There are dozens of named bright stars, and they are the Arabic names. And often they're easier to remember than a designation like Alpha Orionis. What would you prefer, Alpha Orionis, Alpha Ori, or Betelgeuse? What's easier to remember? Down below the belt is the sword of Orion, and in it, a faint fuzzy object, visible in binoculars, not very colorful, because the human eye doesn't detect color very well at low light levels. This is a long exposure photograph showing the glowing hydrogen gas in its own reddish light, and the bright young stars that have been born from this nebula, word for cloud, nebula. This nebula glows blue in some places from reflected light. Emission, red from hydrogen gas, and then the gas that the stars were born from, glowing blue, reflected light from bright bluish stars. There are a group of 4 young, bright stars in the center of the Orion Nebula, and they call them the trapezium. Trapezium, like trapezoid, an irregular 4-sided object. That's one of my favorite deep sky objects to find. It's fairly easy to find, even in binoculars. Ask the amateur astronomers to show that to you when you visit Jenny Jump, UACNJ, the observatories, starting April. Ask them to show you a nebula. This one's near Zeta Orionis. I think I got that right, otherwise known as Alnitak. And this looks like the head of an animal that races. Famous nebula. This is a dark nebula. Dust and gas are 2 main components of galaxies, like the one we live in, the Milky Way. Someday, some of this material may collapse to form stars. How do we know? Well, some of us amateur astronomers are so old, we've actually watched stars forming slowly in nebulas as they collapse. Beautiful deep sky objects. They're all over the place. Faint ones, bright ones. I don't know them all. There are people at Jenny Jump who know a lot more than I do about these objects. One of my favorites in the winter sky is in Monoceros. Monoceros. Mono, one, ceros, horn, a creature with 1 horn, a mythical creature. Yeah, and in Stellarium, you can use Greek mythology and dozens of other mythologies. They can show you pictures from other mythologies and cultures in the sky. One of my favorite objects looks like a flower in Monoceros. You see it? Long red hydrogen gas. Beautiful. What flower does that remind you of? There'll be a test at the end. You can find your way around the sky by star hopping, not only with the Big Dipper, but with Orion. Use his belt. Follow the belt stars in a straight line up and to the right, and you'll pass by the Hyades star cluster, an old open cluster of stars. Stars form together, even in either tight bunches called globular clusters, like a globe, or open clusters spread around, like a sprinkling of salt on black tablecloth. And keep going past the face of Taurus, the horns. Do you see the zodiac sign? The face, Taurus. Should I cheat? Taurus the bull. Taurus is marred by a bright non-star tonight, and that's the planet Mars. We'll take a quick detour and see that even in a powerful telescope, Mars does not show much detail. Usually we see it like this. Oh, and look at that. Right now, if the sky were clear, you'd be seeing one of the major features on Mars. One of the biggest dark features is Syrtis Major. It's a bunch of volcanic rock, not covered by the orangish dust on Mars. And you can see the bright polar caps, north and south. North, south, and the telescope, it'll be upside down. Telescope lenses, just like magnifying glasses, turn everything upside down. You probably won't see two faint moons of Mars. But more likely, you'll see it like this on a small telescope, and brighter. Here's another star cluster, a beautiful one, up above the Hyades, or face of the bull. Many people mistake it for the Little Dipper. Kind of looks like a dipper shape, right? The Seven Sisters. It's the Subaru logo. Yes, when Subaru got formed, they actually sent out space probes to rearrange the position of the stars in the sky so it would look like the emblem that's on the car, right? Yeah, boy, am I a liar or what? Just making stuff up. You can fact check me. Go ahead. The Seven Sisters are actually an open cluster of many more than seven. Generally, I see six. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those of you with sharper eyesight might see 8. In binoculars, dozens. Many more in a large telescope. And in long exposure photographs, we see some of the gas from which these young stars were born. These are babies. They're only a tenth of a fifth of the age of our sun, like a 20th. The sun is 20 times older. These stars are burning through their fuel cell tomorrow, in a few 100 million years. That's pretty quick in stellar times. The sun is 5 billion years old. That's 5,000 million. These stars only millions of years old. Seven Sisters, the Pleiades of Greek legend. One of these stars rotates so fast, Pleione, that it's egg-shaped. It's squashed at the equator. Fast. A planet that looks like that. We just saw it earlier. Fast-spinning planet, just about 10 hours to... Saturn's even faster, about 11 hours to rotate once. Jupiter. Earth is 24 hours, and we're rock, so we don't look squashed. The most squashed of all planets is Saturn. Now, if we go the other way along the belt of Orion, down towards the south, we'll come to the brightest nighttime star, second brightest star in the whole sky. What's the brightest star? Anyone? Audience? Anyone? You know this. Brightest star in the sky, in Earth's sky. That's a trick question. It's in the daytime. Sol, S-O-L. That's our star. We're very close to it. We're about a little over, about 8 1/3 light minutes away. It takes light about 8 minutes to get from the sun to us. A single photon in the center of the sun will spend like almost 1 million years bouncing from atom to atom to atom to atom to the surface. And then, as it leaves the surface, whoosh, 8 minutes after a million years, 8 minutes to reach Earth. This star is 8 light years away, 8.6, plus or minus 0.04 for you very particular people in the audience who like to be precise. All right, so a lot of these measurements have gotten very precise since I was a kid. We have better and better means of measuring parallax. Winter triangle, Betelgeuse, Alpha Orionis, Alpha Canis Majoris, the big dog, Canis Major. And if there's a big dog, there must be a Canis Minoris or Canis Minor, small dog, with its star Procyon. Pro coming before the dog. This one rises first. See, this is lower, this is higher. Looks just like a little dog, right? No? You sure? No? No, without the picture. Just like a little dog, right? No? Got a lot of skeptics in the audience tonight. This almost looks like a dog, right? There's the head, body. Does it? Maybe later on at night when it's flatter in the sky, when it rises higher, or at 8:30 at night in February or March when it's higher. Maybe it'll look more like a dog. For now, I'm going to leave the lines up, make it a little bit easier. Don't forget other signs of the zodiac. As the planets move around the sun, they form a line through the sky, and the ancient observers noticed that certain signs in the sky, certain constellations, marked out that path. In Stellarium, we can cheat a bit and actually show the ecliptic, which would be the orbit of the Earth around the sun drawn out into space. And look how everything lines up. Neptune is down already in the trees. Jupiter, Uranus, Mars, Moon. The planets, the sun and moon, all go through the signs of the zodiac. The fishes, the ram, Aries, the bull, Taurus. What are these? Above Orion tonight, look above or left if you're looking low in the southeast this time of year. Go left and you'll see two people who look alike. Gemini, twins, with their twin stars that don't look entirely alike. One of them has a yellowish color and one color, Pollux and Castor. This is kind of the color the sun might look seen from a great distance off in space. From the nearest star to the sun, Alpha Centauri. It'd be a bright yellowish star. Again, in Stellarium, these are not too apparent. I promise you, if you go out and look with your naked eye, you will be able to tell the subtle colors of stars, the differences, especially when you compare them close together. Here's that moon interfering again. Darn that moon. And then the stars in the east, the stars of winter, late winter and early spring are coming up. We're going to begin to see a backwards question mark. It's pretty low at 8:30 at night, but we can change the time in Stellarium to look later and later at night. We can stay up late. We can simulate staying up late for you, for those of you who have to go to bed early. We've got another sign of the zodiac, the crab, and the beginnings of the spring constellations, especially the backwards question mark for the name of the lion, Leo. Leo the lion. I'll be talking more about Leo in what's up in springtime months, like March and April. So come on back for that. However, we don't have to wait. I mean, we could just change the day. Did you see what happens night to night? Same time, right down here, here's the time. 2023, January 7th, 20 minus 12 is 8:30 at night. 8:30, 9:30. See the difference? 8:30, 9:30, 10:30. The stars are rising. There is all of the lion, Leo. Orion approaches due south in February. It's a great way to learn your way around the sky, star hopping. So before I conclude this talk, do we have a lot of time? Let's see. Well, yeah, we do have a little bit of time. We can do a review. Best thing to do, start in the north to get your bearings, and then you'll know the directions. South is opposite north, to your right, facing south. Use the red line to locate the signs of the zodiac, right? Nope. Let's make it more challenging, shall we? Now what do you do? Uh-oh. Well, don't panic. Look in the west for things that are setting. Don't recognize anything yet? That's fine. Very high in the sky is Perseus. Doesn't look much like a guy holding the head of Medusa. If you watch this star night after night, you'll see it grow fainter and brighter, fainter and brighter. There are actually two stars eclipsing one another. It's a binary star, stars revolving around each other. You can't miss the bright planet Mars, though. And that'll lead you further down to the two star clusters. In the real sky, they look a lot bigger. Right? The angle in the sky is much bigger. In fact, to see some constellations, you have to turn your head side to side, like Pegasus, the horse, which is low in the sky. If I backtrack a little bit and go back towards west, and for you young people in the audience who have to go to bed early, I'm going back to 8th night, the great square of Pegasus setting in the west. You might, galaxy, don't hold your breath. It's not easy. But you will find the planet Jupiter setting early. So do give that a look. That's a lot of fun. If you have a pair of binoculars, you might see the four moons. And some of them may be missing as they go behind the planet and in front of the planet. The planet Uranus, well, you're going to need a telescope for that. If you visit an observatory like UACNJ, then you're going to look for a faint greenish object. This is actually visible to the naked eye in very, very dark skies. If you're young and you have really good eyesight, I probably wouldn't see it. And to all but the most powerful telescopes, even the most powerful telescopes on Earth see a fairly featureless greenish disk. Years ago, early astronomers reported a whitish band in the equator. That's about all you can see, covered with clouds. Planet Uranus, 7th planet. You see how hard it is to find? But you can find Mars, and Mars will help you find the Hyades star cluster, the face of the bull and the horns, which are part of Auriga, the chariot rider. To me, it looks like a five-sided irregular object. Looks just like a chariot rider, right? Yeah, sure. The twins are easy, right? Above Orion. He is easiest of all. To point up to the Hyades and the Pleiades star clusters, down to the bright star of winter, Sirius. Sirius, the dog star. Procyon, the little dog star. I urge you to download, or you can go to the website for Stellarium. You can use an app to learn the sky. Let's find the winter hexagon, shall we? Start with Sirius 1, Rigel 2, Aldebaran, the Eye of the Bull 3, Capella in the Chariot Rider 4, bright stars in Gemini, Castor and Pollux 5, and the little dog star 6. The winter hexagon now has a bright, unblinking star. Planets generally, when they're high, they generally don't twinkle. Low in the sky, maybe, but not high. So we've got 8 bright stars to help us find the winter hexagon. Or if you want to start easier, the winter triangle, the armpit of the giant, literally, the literal translation of Betelgeuse, the armpit of the giant. Procyon, coming before the dog, Procyon, and Sirius, the dog star. intertriangle. Beautiful stars, bright stars of winter. You get steadier skies in the wintertime, less atmospheric disturbance. Great time to see bright stars and color. And you can see them quickly because you're going to want to run inside hot chocolate when you're freezing cold out there. But it's worth it. Finally, we end up by looking in the eastern sky for the stars of spring to be rising, near the moon, below Gemini. We're going to be looking for stars of spring, which I'll talk about more in the next installation of this. You guessed it. What's up in the right February sky? Is it February or February? Is there a New Jersey pronunciation? I learned both. If we have questions, I can actually come back to this. What I'd like to do is conclude my talk with some news. The Artemis 1 spacecraft came back to Earth and arrived at the processing facility at Kennedy Space Center. And we'll see what they learned from that unmanned, unpersoned, is that correct? Unpersoned mission. They'll be sending astronauts back to the moon with the Orion spacecraft. And perhaps we'll live to see them go to the planet Mars. Reference, I give you uwacnage.org. Repeat after me, uwacnage. I don't hear you. Thank you. uacnj.org. It's not hard to remember. United Astronomy Clubs of New Jersey. And you can still read magazines for those who still read in print. Sky and Telescope, Astronomy have websites. You can subscribe for a reasonable fee, but their sites have a lot of stuff that's free, very useful, including star charts. And then there are so many apps that you can hold your mobile device up to the sky and it will read that part of the sky and change depending on your GPS location, identify stuff for you. I used Skyview for a while, but there are dozens of apps that do this. Stellarium is free. You can get an app. You can download a version 1.2 at stellarium.org, or you can just use their supercomputers on their website, stellarium-web. It's free. It runs on everything. And so does a Celestia, which you leave the Earth and move out into space. Stellarium is kind of like having a planetarium that shows you anywhere on Earth. Celestia lets you fly into space like a digital planetarium and go places that we've never been. All free. There's a mobile app as well. And if you forget everything else, go-astronomy.com has a guide to meteor showers. There are bright ones every so often, like the Geminids and the Perseids, the Perseids were in December. In December were the Geminids. In August, we have the Perseids, but I will let you know about other minor showers throughout the year. And finally, if you forget even that, if you forget everything that I've told you, let's just do a quick review. Bad time to see faint stuff, early in the month, full moon. Late in the month, new moon, great time. Here your chance to see the innermost planet. And if you even forget go-astronomy and events, check out the easiest thing to remember, space.com. News, science, search for life, speculation, science, astronomy, all kinds of good stuff, and even forums. Shameless promotion, I have a new app and a book out, a book that uses interactive virtual reality planets that you move with your fingers or a joystick or a mouse or any pointing device. That's my wife's hand doing that right there, moving the planet Mercury in 3D. You can do it with my new app for the planet Mars. You can learn all about all the cool stuff on Mars, the major sites, every landing site, every crash site, including this year's mission, the Rosalind Franklin mission that hasn't landed yet. It's all out there as hotspots that link to videos, short, snappy videos narrated by my wife, who hasn't been paid yet. And it's very entertaining. There's even a free version, limited number of videos, not as nice detail, HD. The full version is 4K. And you can find out all about that at marsatyourfingertips.com. You can get the free stuff. Astronomyinmotion.com has my artwork and virtual reality planets. And you can contact me here at my email. Before we go, when you visit UACNJ, we always show you this reminder that we are on Discord and Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and Patreon and the website uacnj.org. So come on down when we're open starting in April, and hope to see you all next month in What's Up in the July, February, or August? February, Sky. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm not the only one who has trouble remembering what month and day it is. But you should probably get on making sure Jan gets paid.
Yeah, that was like
Uh, we want you coming back, and that's, top priority to making sure that can happen. All right. So thank you, Lonnie, for a great talk. I want to thank our audiences for joining us. So we're going to start out with a fun comment. So someone said, just like the moon, Mercury is also locked to the sun and gets quite the suntan on one side of the planet. To which someone responded, that is why Mercury likes to be in Gatorade. Got to stay hydrated if you're going to suntan like that.
yeah, most metals would turn liquid on the day side of Mercury. However, Mercury does spin slowly every 59 days, so all sides get to bake.
It's very slow rotisserie chicken. All right. So the first question we have is is the Dance the Moon doing a waltz or like a tango, or is it like country line dancing?
Ooh, well, let's see. If Earth's gravity if we pretend Earth's gravity is like hands reaching to the moon, they're kind of, well, they're not really holding on to each other firmly because the Earth is still spinning. But over time, the Earth's gravity has slowed the moon's spin. The moon used to spin much faster until it finally just rotates at the same rate as it goes around the Earth. And the major mass in the moon, underneath those black areas, the seas, that's frozen lava, that pulls more than other parts of the moon. That's where there's more mass on the near side of the moon. So it's locked in rotation. So is it a tango or is it a waltz? Well, let's see.
Or maybe it's
No,
another type of dance. I don't
yeah,
know.
maybe it's
I am not a dancing expert.
brand new. Yeah, its own category. Good question.
All right. So the next one, you had asked chat what they think would be the easiest way to remember something that has multiple names. Someone said, when you know that Alpha means the brightest star in the constellation, it might be easier to remember when spotting one in the sky. And another person also says, I think it also has to do which way you learn them. So if you grow up and,
Mhm.
whoever's showing you the night sky says, hey, that's Betelgeuse. When someone says, hey, let's go look at Alpha Centauri, they're going to be like, what?
Right, Rigel Kentaurus, Alpha Centauri. When you look at a star map, you might see the Greek name. I'm sorry, the letter designation and a number. A lot of fainter stars have numbers, but I like to learn it from the Arabic names.
Right. So the next question we have, and I'm going to say if you guys have any other questions, please do start getting those in. Uh, the next question we have is what 2023 space missions are you excited about,
Well,
Lonnie?
I'm very excited about the Rosalind Franklin mission Mars, planning to land this year. I forget where, but that's the one mission in my Mars model that hasn't happened yet. And what else? Further, actually not this year, but sometime soon, the next few years, a mission to Europa, the moon of Jupiter that may have life inside. So
And that's the
I'm looking forward
Europa
to
Clipper,
launches.
correct?
Yes, yeah, that may be mid 2020s. So
Now,
I haven't been paying as much attention lately. I've been preoccupied with personal matters, but I hope to get back to it next month.
Unfortunately, the holiday times are quite the busy season.
Yep.
Um, Now, I know the Mars, we tend to land on Mars for a lot of our science. For the Europa Clipper, is that one that is land orbiting?
I think the plan is to have an orbiter and then a lander that will drill down a little bit into one of the thinner areas of the ice to see if any microbes have percolated up from the ocean surface up to the top.
All right. Someone had noted the Clipper is currently planned for October of 2024, so we still have almost
Oh,
2 years yet. A little less than 2 years.
yeah, that's an exciting year because there's also a total eclipse of the sun in April of 2024 that goes through the entire United States. So don't miss.
Oh, trust me, not planning on missing that one. And a personal question because I don't know whether I just blanked out while you were going over it. Uh, but didn't we also have a comet that was supposed to happen this month, or
If we
that's
did,
supposed to be like Neowise, where it's visible to the naked eye?
I
Or was
told
that next month, maybe?
I mentioned I think I mentioned that earlier last year, but I didn't see much about it in the news, so I just left it out. And again, personal problems have interfered with my proper appreciation of the sky. So I apologize. I hope to make up for that next month.
Oh, I hear you there. All right. So um, we don't really have any more questions. I want to thank you, Lonnie, again for giving us a great presentation. I want to thank everyone who has joined us online. Please do feel free to join us back next time. We do have a list of our current upcoming talks on our website, so you can always see. And we also post to not only our Discord, but our Facebook when we go live. Uh, so, like Lonnie said, do check out our website. Fo- uh, do like and subscribe on our YouTube. It's where we have not only our live streams, but we archive all of our talks so that if you notice you missed something you were interested in, you could always go back and talk. And I periodically review for comments to see if there's anything we could answer. And also, we do stream to Twitch, so you can always follow us there when we go live. With that, everyone have a good night.
Thanks to Kim, Chris, Jeff, and the UACN.